Hello, my name is Laura.
My name is Ruby, and we are here from Telling Tales.
Today we have 4 books to share with you. These are all middle grade books for kids around age 8 to 12. At first glance, it seems like the stories have nothing in common.
There's a witch's apprentice learning about magic who's not allowed to go to the witches' convention.
That's very different from an indigenous girl and her friends who are trying to save their favorite outdoor place from being destroyed by developers.
Not to mention 2 princesses from feuding kingdoms who are on a quest to undo the curse that turns one of them into a swan.
That's very different from 6 kids with superpowers who have to save the world using hockey, who go to space to deal with an asteroid of solid ice.
Not only are the stories unique, the main characters each have something that makes them a little bit different from everyone else.
These differences allow them to understand where other people are coming from. They can imagine what it would be like to stand in someone else's shoes, and that gives them empathy. First, we have The Witch's Apprentice by Zetta Elliott. Since this is the 3rd book in the Dragons in a Bag series, there's already a lot that's been going on.
In the earlier books, the main character Jax has helped deliver some baby dragons to the magical realm, which isn't his usual home in Brooklyn, New York. And then one of the dragons gets stolen, and things get a lot more complicated.
In The Witch's Apprentice, things are even more complex. A strange sleeping sickness is spreading across the city, and Jax's friend has entrusted him with a phoenix egg. Jax wants to help his friends and learn how to hatch the phoenix, but so far his lessons as a witch's apprentice haven't seemed very useful.
When bullies steal some tamales from a girl and her grandmother, Jax suddenly realizes he has the power to make them pay. He uses his magic to make the tamales too hot to eat, but even though that makes him feel powerful, it doesn't really help the girl and her grandmother.
He quickly learns that helping doesn't mean doing what you want to do or what makes you feel better. You have to find out what other people need, what would actually help them. The girl's grandmother is weak from the sleeping sickness, and Jax can use his training to help her stay awake. That's the kind of help they need.
Of course, this actually is just one step for Jax. Throughout the book, he tries to figure out the best way to help others, even if it means working with the shady magical figure named Blue.
These books are a lot of fun, and the adventures of Jax and his friends will be continuing in book 4, which comes out in January 2023.
Our next book, Forever Birchwood by Danielle Daniel, is set entirely in the real world.
The main character, Wolf, spends her days exploring the mountains and wilderness with her 3 best friends, and their favorite place is their treehouse hideaway, Birchwood. When she finds out that she is the great-granddaughter of a tree talker, Wolf knows that she is destined to protect the birch trees and the wildlife that surround her.
Then Wolf and her friends discover orange plastic bands wrapped around the trees near Birchwood. It's in danger of being destroyed, and Wolf's own mother might be involved.
Forever Birchwood is also a coming-of-age story. It's the summer before high school, and the girls' friendship is changing. They need to find ways to understand and support each other and work together to save their special place.
During the novel, Wolf learns a lot about who she is and what she values, and that allows her to understand where others are coming from, including her friends and her mom.
Wolf and her friends really grow throughout this book. They become better at seeing things from other perspectives and at finding their own ways to stand up for what they believe in.
But are they able to save Birchwood?
You'll have to read the book to find out.
In our next book, the main characters Odette and Dillie are the same age as Wolf and her friends, but the story could not be more different.
Not to mention the format. Swan Lake, Quest for the Kingdoms is a graphic novel written by Ray Tessiero and illustrated by Megan Kearney. It's an action-packed retelling of the classic story and ballet, Swan Lake.
Odette and Dillie are princesses from feuding kingdoms, but when they meet, it's clear they were destined to be best friends. Odette lives with a curse that magically transforms her into a swan, and she's happy to meet someone who treats her like everyone else. Dillie is excited that our new friend understands that she wants to go on adventures instead of just sitting on a throne.
They discover that Odette's curse is the reason for the problems between their families, and they decide to follow an ancient legend that might be able to set everything right.
Since the princesses have never met before, they need to figure out how to be understanding of one another and how to work together.
It helps that they already know what it's like to be different and have people make assumptions about you. Odette has been hidden away because she spends half her life as a swan.
And people think that Dillie's prosthetic leg limits what she's able to do. They are very surprised at her skill with a sword.
The princesses are able to use their own experiences to develop empathy for others. They understand that things are not always the way they seem, and that you have to be patient and find out why people are acting in a certain way.
This helps Odette and Dillie as they work to make things better for everyone in the kingdoms.
Our final book has some graphic novel elements in it as well.
There are illustrations and lots of graphic text, and even a couple comic strips.
We are talking about Hockey Super 6, Shooting Stars by Kevin Sylvester.
This is the fourth book in this series, which starts when a group of kids, Benny, Jenny, Carl, Starlight, DJ, and Mo, get zapped into an evil plot gone wrong. They become a superpowered hockey team, and in their previous adventures, they have battled carnivorous ice squids, power-hungry robots, and a vengeful bunny.
This time, an asteroid of solid ice is headed straight for Earth.
But who handles ice better than the Super Six? No one!
Their plan is to work together as a team to destroy the asteroid. They each have a superpower that can help: strength, intelligence, leadership, teamwork, and the ability to think outside the box.
Of course, they must also deal with the astronaut-turned-evil scientist Richard, who hates hockey. But why?
In a bonus comic within a comic, Kevin Sylvester gives us some insight into this supervillain who wasn't allowed to play hockey when he was a kid. He actually wasn't allowed to play with other kids at all, and how this led to resentment and jealousy.
Not to mention his vow that he would one day destroy hockey itself.
This book is action-packed and feels like the pace of a real hockey game. The illustrations and word bubbles make the story and characters jump off the page.
There are lots of twists and turns as the Super Six learn who they can really trust. But you'll just have to read it to find that out.
Even though these books are very different, they all have characters who are learning to see the world from other people's perspectives.
This allows them to have more empathy for the people around them, whether they are friends, family, or sometimes even enemies.
That's one of the best things about reading. We get to experience the world from someone else's point of view, and that helps us become more understanding of the people in our real lives.
These stories are so good at that. Jax teaches us how to help others by finding out what they really need.
Wolf teaches us about building connections with people through the natural world.
Odette and Dillie let us experience what it's like to be different.
And the Hockey Super 6 show us the importance of understanding other people's strengths and working together on a goal.
Happy reading!